Okay, well we're leaving today, leaving the wine country, so we thought we would give you guys just a little bit of like just an overview of our trip and some hints and tips in case you're thinking about taking a trip out here sometime soon. So we stayed at what was it, Nickelbar?
I think it's called.
Yeah, we think.
Nickelbar.
Okay. Nothing is probably
Sure.
a bit similar to where we're from. Nothing is pronounced as you think it would be. So yeah, so that's where we stayed. We stayed at Wine Country Tourist Park, which we've already done the review on. It's in a great location. So it's in a great location in relation to wineries, and it's also in a great location because it's quite close to Cessnock. So if you come and you have, like, if you're low on groceries, low on fuel, it has all your standard shops that you would need if you were short on anything. So it's not like
big small town, eh?
yeah, we were a little bit worried about that, weren't we? We sort
Yeah.
of looked at the map and thought, oh, if we get here and we haven't got groceries, is it going to be...
But it had a Coles, a Woolies, an Aldi, a big
Yeah.
Ritchie's IGA,
Yep,
and then plenty of gas stations to choose petrol from.
yep.
That's one thing we were a little bit concerned. I don't know why. Maybe it's a fuel crisis, but plenty of options. They also had like BCF and stuff like that if you needed stuff for your gear.
Yep.
But, one thing I will say is the road from Nickelbar, that's what I'm going to call it, into Cessnock is absolutely treacherous. It's so bumpy because it's the main thoroughfare for traffic and trucks and stuff. But
It's not a wide road at all.
it's not
either.
a wide road either, so it's really well speed zoned though. You can't speed through it. But as Trace was saying, staying at Nickelbar before we talk about any of the wineries, it was so close to everything. Like yesterday, I drove around and we did a few tastings, did it sensibly, all within about 5 to 10 k's of where we stayed. So really easy access from where we camped. We took the camper.
Yeah. Yeah, so the wineries, like, they're obviously a lot of wineries. I couldn't tell you how many. There are a lot. And we, you know, due to time constraints, we only could visit... Did we visit?
Maybe 7 or 8.
Yeah,
Maybe
7 or 8 in the
6 or
end.
7, I don't know. We picked our top 3 on the post though.
We did, yes. My top wine, I was actually really surprised by. I'm normally like a white girl.
White trash can.
But my favourite wine was the 2016 Merlot up at Audrey Wilkinson. They gave us a 2022 Merlot and it was like, And then she goes, oh, I'll give you this one in comparison. It was a 2016 and I really liked it, and it was probably my favourite wine of the whole, out of all the wines that we tasted. So the Hunter's known for its Semillon, its Chardonnays and its Shirazes, and you'll find when you get amongst all the different wineries that they have their, sorry, this road's really bumpy. You'll find that they have their, you know, like their flagship kind of wine, don't they?
Yeah.
Or if you go somewhere like we went to Brokenwood yesterday, they had 3, so they were like their Chardonnay, their Shiraz, and their Semillon. Whereas when we went to Scarborough, they were all over Chardonnay. Yeah. So they're not my cup of tea, not your cup of tea really.
But the Shiraz was good, but a lot of this is not to do with the Shiraz, but a lot of the wineries, like most places, have like grape growers partnerships. So we spoke to a lot of the servers, and they were telling us that, you know, where they get their grapes from and stuff. And most of them come from the Adelaide Hills, which is where we're trying to get to. So that was pleasing. But yeah, so I think the hint is if you're a bubbles person, definitely get to Peterson's house, which is on the corner of Wine Country Drive and Broke Road, I think. That'd be the best way I could explain it to you. We went there yesterday in the review. Lovely place if you're planning a wedding. Great venue.
Oh, gorgeous.
If you like Chardonnay, which we also share with you, we ain't massive Chardonnay fans. Well, I'm not.
No.
But Scarborough, that's what they're known for. They had, I reckon, I don't know, at least a dozen variations of Chardonnay.
Yep.
And then if you may not know the brand, but Brokenwood have a cricket pitch range, which is in like most retailers.
Yep.
They don't really do it here. They do their more upmarket stuff, but they were pretty awesome. Like their selection of range and where they get their grapes from and service was top notch. So
That was my favourite
yeah, that was kind of our top 3
from their wines. I mean.
from the wines. And there's also plenty of places to go and check out gourmet foods and cheeses and stuff. We only did 2 spots because of time.
Yep.
But yeah, and then Broken Wood and I'm going to say Peterson House, they had a restaurant on site, so you could go there for lunch as well. But we obviously didn't because we were sort of out doing things all day. But there is plenty to do in and around the region. Now, one thing that all servers said to us was, if you come on the weekends or come on public holidays, make sure you book your tastings in advance. And Easter and the October long weekend, which I think is King's birthday.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
At their busiest weekend, so like basically if you haven't booked, don't bother showing up. So we were lucky, we come straight after Easter and we could walk in. We didn't have to wait anywhere. Some of them were pretty full though, so like, you know, we weren't far off maybe having a wait, but and each tasting probably took what, 45 minutes to an hour?
45, yeah. Yep.
So yeah, definitely worth it.
Each tasting's about one standard drink.
Yeah, it's like 20 mils.
Yeah, provided they don't do it. They normally don't give you a couple of extra.
We were lucky when we called the Uber and they found out we weren't driving, we got a few extra. But in saying that, we did buy 2 bottles of that Merlot that Trace was talking about, so that set us back about 3 power bills.
It wasn't that bad. We have solar.
So yeah, it's probably it for the wineries. Heaps of petrol stops. Look, one thing not to do, we got caught up yesterday as we drove out. There's a little sign on your way into, I don't know, let's say Cessnock, and it was like about a national park. So we thought, well, we'll go for a look and see if there's a short walk where we can walk out and get some good footage or photos of overlooking the valley. We got up to this picnic area and it was just a burnt out car. And the grass was overgrown and nowhere to go, so
there was graffiti all over the signs.
Yeah, so to save yourself some time, unless they do something drastic, I probably wouldn't spend. It was a 2.5k drive, a bumpy dirt road past
massive
the zoo.
potholes.
I wouldn't say. I'd save your diesel. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, yep, definitely. Because we just like did a U-turn and came back again.
Yeah,
for sure.
So I would say if you're keen on wine, if you love getting out, if you time it perfectly, you can get in and. Actually, before I talk about that, Ubers are really scarce here. So it was still cheap. It was the same pricing as like us in Metro. It's a bit of surging in the afternoon, but Trace and I took 1, 2, maybe 4 or 5 Ubers the first day, just so we could enjoy ourselves before I drove yesterday. Cost was fine. Cost wasn't a problem. It was more just we had one Uber driver drop us off. His name was Teal. Teal, if you're watching this, I've still got your business card. And then we had another young man, I forgot his name, but he picked us up for the rest of the day. So,
yeah,
and
he was like our Uber.
He was dropping off and picking up, so he was basically, there was only one Uber.
Felt like he was following us.
So that's probably my advice, is like, and then we spoke to one of the servers and they said, make sure, like, you're better off going with Taxico.
Yep.
The local taxi mob. Because he shared a story with us, and again, I don't know if it's factual or not, but he had a couple that come a while back and waited 4 hours for a taxi, which I kind of find it weird. So I'm not going to slag off a taxi company because, you know, and
I think that was Uber.
Oh, it was Uber.
Yeah.
Well, look, even Uber. If I'm being honest, if I was that couple, and again, I'm not slagging this couple off, maybe they didn't want to be a pest, but if my Uber hadn't come in 10 minutes, I'd definitely go and ask someone for some help, or is there another alternative, or at least go and get myself another drink and wait.
6 hours later.
So yeah, that was just a story, but Ubers are pretty scarce, but again, they were the same price as Metro. We got around safely, and people were sort of shocked that we were using Ubers the first day before we felt.
Yeah, it was like, no, it's fine. It's good.
Yeah. What about Roche Estate? No.
Yeah. Roche Estate was an interesting one, and it was kind of cool to start talking to some of the other sommeliers around at different wineries. You know, you get a little bit of local knowledge once you start sort of chatting to them. And what we had noticed about Roche Estate is this big, beautiful building, you know, with all this land and all these sort of vineyards. It kind of like it's kind of like a setting similar to, if you're familiar with Sirime. Sirime is like a lot older sort of buildings. This is quite a new building, but just that whole setting of like just wide open spaces and vineyards, and it's just lovely. But we noticed that it was like amongst the building there was a lot of empty sort of spaces where there were no tenants. So there was Tempest 2, McGuigan, Oishi restaurant, which was
pretty much it.
a combination of Thai and Japanese. But then it was all empty. We were like, that's weird. It kind of, and it gives this like empty vibe, doesn't it?
Derelict.
Yeah.
Been abandoned. But the at Roche Estate anyway, it's kind of like the new Hope Estate. So it houses all the main Australian concerts like the Big Day Out, or what's that one you said? Red Hot Summer,
yeah.
So it's in business, but I suppose what we're trying to say is it looks really empty when you drive past it. Definitely pop in, because McGuigan and that at the end, again, they sell their mainstream stuff in bottle stores and their upmarket stuff there, which is good to test. But
this Shiraz gin.
Oh, it's Shiraz gin with a bottle.
Was that Tempest 2 though? I think who are the same company.
Not sure, yeah, but like it's the Roche Estate, like just be wary. Like there's basically tours that come in there. Not weary. Weary is the wrong word. It just looks derelict, like it's not open, so you can go in there. Is what we're trying to say.
Yep. Definitely.
And then we also visited the Hunter Valley Gardens. We didn't do all the gardens just because of time restraint, but at the back of the gardens there's like an aqua golf, which is a driving range where you had golf balls into water. So if you want something to do to fill in some time, that could be something to do. We obviously didn't have time.
And the dinosaurs, like if you had kids,
they
it was
they had some sort of dinosaur park, which looked pretty cool.
It looked really cool.
I don't think it was really made for Trace and I, but if you had kids or...
We were worried what people would say if we went in there without kids, so we gave it a skip.
Yeah, we skipped that. And there was a massive Ferris wheel in there at night time, it lit up, so it looked pretty cool.
Yep.
But yeah, anyway, Hunter Valley in a caravan, diesel costing more than $3.10 a litre, definitely worth doing.
Definitely worth it.
5 out of 5.
One more thing I'll just touch on before we sign off. The tastings. Now, I don't know if it was just me, but I noticed that when we went to like the cheese and chocolate, like a lot of them had advertised, you get tastings here. And when I kind of like, there was one in particular that had really advertised it out the front. And I walked in and they were sorry, and I was like, hey, I'm keen on buying some cheese. And I'm like, what are you looking for? And I'm not too sure. But they kind of just directed me to the fridge when I told them that I preferred like a hard cheese over a soft cheese. There was no sort of signs of like, hey, taste this cheese and decide what you like. So I've kind of brought this cheese pack blind, not really knowing what it tastes like. So just thought it was a little bit strange. And even like they have gelato tastings, I didn't see evidence of that. And maybe it's something that they do more on the weekends when it's a bit more busy. But yeah, it was a little bit disappointing. That would be my little negative there. But yeah, on the road now to Dubbo, so we will catch you along the way.